Haven't seen him. He was supposed to get, from what I understand from Ron, a letter to us the day after the meeting or something. I have not
Before
seen
this meeting.
Yeah.
Here's the request for the narrative, Melissa. That goes in there. That there's in there, he says that a narrative was provided, that maybe it's up in our mailbox. We definitely didn't get an email about it.
Well, we didn't get any mail last week. Jessica had said that she had apologized for not bringing the mail down, but she would have it for us this time.
There was nothing on the table when we came in, right?
Didn't see anything.
No, there was nothing.
But the planning office was open. I'm just gonna go over and the counter.
So you think Jim might not be here then tonight?
I know Jim's definitely not going to be here because he said in an email earlier in the week that he was not going to be here.
Oh, I didn't know.
He had another...
Do you mind signing in?
Melissa, did you ever hear back from Jessica about the question on what kind of account stuff?
I think the second one was your preference. I don't have the email on
I
me.
can't get it. Oh, yes I can.
Can you? Well, basically, she was amenable to any of those options.
Well, I don't know.
I emailed her back. Maybe you weren't on it. But the 2 out of 3 options were only for donations, and
We asked for further clarification,
yeah, we
right?
asked for clarification.
So that's, we can't really do anything about that tonight.
Yeah, so she didn't get back to you.
Last conversation I have is, no. No, that's August 15th.
Okay.
I'm sorry, wait, that's
And that
the
is
conservation.
notes that I had been
Okay.
writing for conditions.
Okay.
But that could have changed because the project could have changed.
I'm sorry, this was on Wednesday the 5th. Jessica says, I spoke with the treasurer of the garden committee. He's fine with option 3.
Okay. So,
And Jessica was saying, every option,
every option requires her, that is so annoying.
what's
It requires her involvement.
that's enough. Yeah, and in this situation, it appears I will need to sign off. That's Jessica. And you say, as long as they're okay with it. Jessica replies back, I just spoke to the treasurer from the garden committee. He's fine with option 3. And then you asked me to put this on the agenda to discuss. I don't know what option 3 was.
We want to know more about,
Okay.
if it's just semantics or
Right.
if there's more to it than that.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to start if you guys want to start.
You ready? Okay. Okay. Public concerns. Okay, none. A continuation of the notice of intent for the hearing for the Pomeroy Road, West Street, Loudville Road, Glendale Street intersection. There is nobody here from City of Easthampton. There's nobody here. There's Peter's here.
Here.
Hey, do you want to talk about
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what?
the intersection problem?
Sure.
Sit right there.
Yeah.
You can sit anywhere, Peter. And the only things, I know, I'm sorry, I missed the last meeting. Just a couple of things that I want in the minutes that, so everybody knows. I had requested a new narrative, bringing it up to date for all work that is being done, so we have...
The intersection
one-
project?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That there is one narrative for the entire project, because it's been so piecemealed, for us to go back and try to figure out what's being done, what's not being done. My other thing is, I emailed Jim Gracia today and said, I have not heard anything from DEP. I don't know if they've even received these revised plans. They need to receive a revised narrative. They need to give us some feedback too.
They're not likely to.
Even on a notice of intent?
Yep. They give their initial comments usually, and that's it.
Okay, all right. I'd just like to,
But give
I
them
want it in
opportunity.
there, that we haven't heard from them. The other thing is, I do not believe that this town or anybody has met with the Lawrence. Is that correct, Carol?
That's correct.
So they have not done that part either, where I don't feel that we can close the public hearing until that part of the project is resolved, at least to an agreed upon terms.
And we can't close the hearing until we have a signature.
Right.
To some,
And the signature is a little, I don't know what they'll present for a letter. I haven't a clue. I don't know if you've seen Jim's letter, but I haven't even any idea what the format will be. But it's like a kind of like a catch-22 situation here. Unless the letter says we're going to negotiate with you at a minimum of $150,000, and I don't think that the money is there, so I don't know.
the letter that, the signature we need is basically acknowledge, nothing to do with the business end, the property transfer. It's exclusively an acknowledgement on your part, the property owner's part, that you're aware that this permit application has been filed, and that it includes work on land that you currently own. It doesn't indicate your approval of the design, anything like that. It doesn't even indicate any responsibility on your part for the design or the permit that gets issued. It's just you acknowledging that they're going to be doing something on your, that they're proposing something on your land.
But would they also be acknowledging, though, that they understand what is being done on their land?
It doesn't have to.
In the minutes it was agree in principle,
Right.
of what the
They understand the
project.
project.
Yeah, they understand the project.
Because we can't
At
issue
this
anything
point, we
until
don't
that-
understand the project. So how could we be asking the Lawrence to submit something?
We're not asking them to understand the project design or anything like that. We're asking them to understand that something's being proposed on their land and that they're aware of it. As for the logistics of the property transfer, that's not our, we don't have a say in that, other than...
But I think part of the thing is we don't understand exactly what is happening on the land, right? Is that...
Right,
I guess
on the
they-
Lawrence land, until
Yeah.
we have a narrative. It's two separate things, yes.
Right.
We don't understand what's going on, but I don't see how they can say, yes, we understand something's going on our property. I mean, I wouldn't sign something that just gives someone an open door that says, yeah, you're going to do something on my property, I acknowledge it. That kind of puts them in a position later on down the road legally. If they come back, they could always say, well, you acknowledge that something's going to be done on your property. It's a little open-ended, and I think before they would do something like that, they might want to have it looked at by their
Well,
attorney.
we were planning to, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
And that's fine, but administratively, we can't move, I mean, we're kind of at a standstill. And I don't think there's any point in discussing anything further until we get those pieces of
Right.
information.
Exactly.
And until there's a signature. And I'm not trying to pressure you into providing it.
Oh, no,
I know the
it's okay.
city's not been the most,
Well, we've been to a lot of
Swift.
fruitless meetings, but as soon as I do get the letter, I'm assuming he will have the city attorney draft up something of that nature, but I don't know. We have our own attorney, I'll have him take a look at it and also send a copy on to, we're now in the CPA, the APR process. They voted unanimously, and we're in the funding loop. So I'll just send them a copy of it too. They do have an interest. I'll get it back as quickly as those two parties will, get it in front of themselves, respond to us. It won't be that I'll be delaying, but when I do get it, I'll just send it as quick as I can.
Did that house parcel, the parcel with the house on it, or I know it's not a separate parcel, but that area of land, was that to be included in the APR as well, or was that carved out?
The 35,000 square feet that includes the house on it is carved out.
Okay.
At this point.
Okay.
If they do come up with a price and they buy it, and it will be put in after, but at this point it's not.
Okay.
And they also will have a say, I believe down the end of the field, that's going to be an easement. So, that will be something that will be in their contractual jurisdiction, and we'll have to look at that.
All right, so let's continue this to the next meeting, which will be the 24th at 6:05.
So they just didn't show up?
I knew Jim Gracia wasn't coming, and Melissa and I had communications with Jim Gracia today stating, if you're not going to have this stuff, don't send the guys out from Worcester to stand here to give us nothing. So, but we never heard back from Jim that they weren't going to come. So, all right, so the 24th at 6:05.
At this point, we asked for a revised plan showing riprap slope on the south side of Pomeroy Meadow Road, a revised planting plan needed prior.
We did
I
get
think we
that.
did get that last time.
No, you requested it at the last
Revised planting plan
meeting.
showing the blueberry bush.
Oh, okay,
layout.
sorry, we had not,
Didn't they email that?
We got a plan that showed the riprap added to here.
in
Okay.
the revised planting note?
Did it show anything about the blueberry?
When did you get that?
Did I send that out?
You did, but
I don't remember getting that.
What's the date on that?
I usually send it to both your emails, because I know that one sometimes bounces
so
back.
August 31st is the letter. So
Okay, well, that was in between. I'll,
August 31st, did you have?
that's from the letter. I don't know what the date of the email. I can look at that.
Okay, no, I'll look at work. Sure I would have it.
It's the 27th, so that wouldn't have been the one. I just went through my conservation emails. No, I don't have that.
Chris, I put something else on for the 24th, for the agenda. I CC'd you on the email that was going back and forth. Do you remember what that was?
Was it about Gary Golis with his pond, or no?
No, wasn't that.
From the auditor. 8 oath, no.
It was only just an email about a second time.
So that's going to get
No,
called
that's-
now.
that's
There was
next.
something else that was on for the 24th. They didn't, something I think Jessica initiated.
Yeah, she sent it twice.
The CR?
We're talking about that tonight.
I know, but she's not here.
Today, CR, Palmer Meadow, 2221 Northampton Street. That was the,
Theodore's.
new Conservation Commission member, request for compliance for, lot 3013 River Valley Way, Easthampton. No, you already took care of that.
All right. I'll look when I'm looking for the other thing tomorrow. I'll look for that
I
too.
have parent teacher.
Carol, did you want to put anything in? No. All right. Sorry.
September 4th, this was
Have a
sent
good
from
night.
Jessica.
If there's been no progress, do I just call you if there's
Yeah.
no progress, and we can just, whatever?
That might be why. Yeah.
So
Okay.
this came from Jessica on September 4th.
It did.
Okay.
That's what that's for.
And it was sent to your final
Okay.
address, Kelly.
I might have thought it was a duplicate of something else.
Yeah, the only note I have from you, Kelly, is to put the 13 River Valley Way on tonight's.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. But now you can continue it to the 24th
At 6:15?
at 6:15 because Eliza and Jody were not able to meet this weekend, and they both want to meet with me just to go over anything. So
July 24th at 6:15.
I'm going to meet with them this Saturday. What?
Chris is scheduling things in July over
Oh,
there.
thanks,
First
Chris.
one's at Tucson, I think.
Yeah.
Other things while we're on talking about that project there, the treehouse. I got a request they want to sell to one person 2 building lots, combine them together and place the house in the center of the 2 of them. Totally out of the buffer zone. I said I didn't see a problem with it, but I would show everybody at the commission and make sure no one else has a problem with it, but it looks fine to me.
So the buffer zone and riverfront area?
It's not a jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's
Well-
a front on the lot, but it's not.
yeah.
in the-
Yeah.
Their building envelope is out of the buffer zone.
West building. That's fine.
It's one of the model houses they've selected. They're not going to build one that's 3 times the size, with a huge driveway that could affect stormwater in some way that's not accounted for.
We'll capture that under stormwater.
What's that?
Capture that under the stormwater ordinance?
Well, not
entirely?
possibly. I mean, this has already all been approved and everything,
So I'll send an email to Treehouse tomorrow that looks fine.
So, does the property deed still carry a provision?
The same
Okay.
exact, yep. When they get their certificate of compliance, it's gonna say that these such and such conditions still exist, blah, 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 blah. Only times 2, because they have 2 lots. Enforcement orders. Peter, did you go out to see what Mr. Gall is doing?
Well,
Making a football field back there?
so there were 2 things. One, on the Route 10 side of the bike trail, there's some dirt being piled up back there. Not in any sort of wetland area
Okay.
that I could tell. It's on the slope, it's behind
Hackworth.
Hackworth, yeah.
Right. And I know in the front, right on Route 10, he was given permission to stockpile topsoil.
Okay.
To
Yeah,
like
it's farther
some
back.
stupid, like 8 feet or something like that. He can stockpile it.
There's, I don't know.
But I saw in the back,
Yeah.
by the bike path,
Yeah,
he's
it's-
also putting fill in there.
It's probably a couple hundred feet from the bike path.
Oh, okay. You
So
can't
I don't-
tell back there where it is.
Yeah, so unless there's some wetland there that I don't know about, it's on a slope, it's all on a slope, so, and it's all in a field.
How many is it, a couple hundred feet away?
Yeah, probably 100 or 200 feet, I would say at least.
And that's a field that was always mowed, right?
There's that.
Yeah,
Like if
it's mowed, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, behind the chiropractor, yeah. But there is on the other side of the bike path, a sort of a road forming,
Oh, what?
a road sort of that's forming. Someone's driving a truck down there.
Go talk to Barbara Lumbamba about that.
That's the bike path people?
I think Lumbamba, thank you. That's, has got to be the same thing where the trees were getting cut down.
No, it goes farther than that. It goes to where the building is, where the asbestos was. It goes all that. It goes that far. It's
On
not
the
just that
other
same,
side of
on
the
the other
bike-
side. Yeah, it's not just that same area. And it starts. It crosses. I didn't take any pictures now, but it crosses the stream.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet you that's Cernak's property.
Yes, that's where it goes to. Yeah, the big parcel.
It goes to that site?
I don't want to
How would you
turn up in a
describe it?
minute, but it goes to that area where the parcel is.
I will call
Well,
Mr.
that's one of the minutes that I'm not positive it's in land.
I will call Mr. Cernak again.
And it starts on South Street. That's South Street, right?
It starts at South Street,
Yeah, and it goes at
Oh,
least,
so it heads from South Street toward Coleman?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So a long way.
Along the
oh
edge of
yeah,
that.
along these are the past, yeah.
But it crosses over the street.
It crosses the
They
street.
drive through the street.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
So here, Peter, you're given, there's the enforcement order I was ready to give to Mr. Gall. Fill it out, just tell him to stop and come before the commission about driving through the street. Make sure though, go up, see Barbara,
Okay.
ask her, she'll know exactly what parcel it is, we'll
Okay.
figure it out.
Okay.
So you will call
Do you want me to
Mr.
sign
Cernak.
that for you?
Sure. And you want me to bring this to
You can write to Mr. Cernak.
which Cernak?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So not Gall, who's Gall?
Bernie
You can
Gall.
say-
Bernie
Gall.
Gall. Bernie Gall is in the front of the parcel.
Cernak owns the rear of it?
Cernak
Yeah.
owns the
Are
other
we
side
being
of the
recorded?
bypass.
Oh, no.
It's just on, I think.
Okay, so everybody gets to sign this. Peter, you are the delivery person, so you are the last person to sign it.
Okay, so you will call Mr. Cernak, you're gonna deliver that to Mr. Cernak?
Oh, first I'll confirm that it's Mr. Cernak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call until you confirm that that's who owns that.
Got it.
And
All right.
Barbara or Jess is the person to check on that?
Both of them, either one of them can find you the assessor's map.
Okay.
Or you can just go to the assessor's office, just say you're from the Conservation Commission, and they'll help you. But when you go to the assessor's office, and they give you, it will tell, ask them for the phone number.
Okay.
For who it is. And they'll give you his address and everything, where his tax bills are sent, but they'll give you that, that's where you wanna go.
What if it's a PO box?
Then we send him certified.
Okay.
Then I'll go knock on his door, because I do know where he lives, I'm pretty sure. I think he's up on Terrace View. Because that would make sense, because you come out in the back of Terrace View, down the hill, and into that, back behind there. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's
Yeah, this looks like it's different than the stuff that was happening in the spring. It's, I don't think it's,
Yeah, he was cutting trees and using the excuse that the bike path people told him that now. This is, I think he's like learning from Bernie. It's a teaching experience that's probably going on.
So everything that is happening on the Gulf property, the furthest extent you can see from Route 10. So looking back,
I don't think you can see it from Route 10.
you can't, because it seems like it goes, what I could
You
see
might
from
be able
Route
to.
10 goes a lot further back
Yeah,
than
well,
it
you have
used
to be
Yeah,
coming
it's better than what.
from Southampton to Easthampton, you can
That's what I
see back in the
did
corner.
tonight. And it just seemed like it was going a lot further back and...
Well, I know he's still in the road area, I knew that, but I couldn't tell how far it was from the bike path to there.
Yeah, no, it's,
And not-
And I know the only wetlands on that property is, if you're looking at it this way, it's this corner over there by the bike path. That was where, it's over in that corner. Here's the corner where the work's being done, it's over in that corner is where it comes, the stream comes down.
yes.
'Cause that's on the assessor's map,
That's the
too.
corner where the work was being done. But not, it didn't look like it was close to a wetland. The
No,
stream
no, you're on the other, I'm going this way now. The work's being done in this corner.
Yeah.
You're looking at it from the road.
Yep, yeah.
The stream is over
Oh,
here.
okay. All right.
But I don't go on the bike path these days, so I can't tell you. I'd be like, Chris would be jogging by and leap over. I'll be back. All right, and just for the record, I don't like when people send emails concerning Easthampton. That was, you were very diplomatic in responding, much better than me. Thank you for being to the response. Because I would have had one or two responses. Please feel free, this is DEP's contact, please, because if they go to DEP, DEP sends us a letter, and it's a lot stronger to go and pursue this. You know, this kind of stuff, people can go on the bike path, but if Melissa was very correct, if that was not visible from a certain place, we can't go on there.
Yeah.
So,
without their permission, and frankly, until it shows up that it's changed aerial or something like that.
yeah.
we can't.
So do we have to go to the EP, or should we go to the EP? Or?
Well, at this point, there's nothing, this concern is not our concern anymore, but the one that Peter has, that is visible from the bike path, so that's why you can go that way. But sometimes, people will call and say, my neighbor's doing such and such, so unless we can get onto that person's property and see it, it doesn't matter.
Remember when a group of us tried to go out to that property with Stuart and got to we're all kind of perched on the property corner going,
What should be our response then to this concerned citizen?
Just say, we
Did a site visit?
did a site visit, and we find that at this time, we have no jurisdiction in the work that's being, that's all.
Alright, I will do that.
Well, we found something else.
but you totally missed this other thing.
Giant road.
Yeah.
Which may be on your
And you know what's funny?
Exactly.
And this is the best part. It's like, okay, this would be Cernak.
Right.
Riding on the other one.
Right? Oh my god, that'd be great.
All right. So, the only other general business that I have that's just really bothering me, and I don't like to rain on someone's parade, but this whole Popcorn Noir is getting all this exposure about their new restaurant with their lovely patio overlooking the pond, and I know I never signed a building permit. I know their lovely patio overlooking the pond is in the buffer zone. And Melissa at one point talked to her about ripping an oil tank out of the ground back there.
Oh my god.
She already said, the contact I gave that to, she phoned her and she said she had it all taken care of, or didn't need our services.
Took care of it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But if it was already a concrete or or whatever the ground surface is, if they're just putting tables out there,
Yeah, that I don't have the problem so much.
That's all
but
they
if they,
did with
well then,
But if they dug a hole to pull an oil tank out of the
That's what I
ground,
don't know. I mean, I've only seen it, saw it finished.
yeah,
I'd like to see
I
that
don't know.
finished as well. They make great drinks. They do.
and I can never figure out what movie's playing. I just can't get it. I just don't get any of her clues at all. I never know what movie it is. I show up for the little kids' movies. Oh, that's not what I thought it would be.
I'll take a drink now, later.
All right, meeting minutes, can I get the okey dokey?
I make a motion, we approve the August 27th, 2012 meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the garden subcommittee, we're going to put off to the next meeting, or do you have your choice of the three? I don't know what the three choices
Well,
are.
but we want to know, Dan had a point, which is 2 of the 3 seemed geared only for donations, not fees. And we want to make sure that the plot fees, the annual plot fees, as well as any outright donations, all go into this, and it's not like we're now splitting their money between 2 different accounts. So hopefully Jessica can be at our next meeting.
So, and the next thing too, the conservation restriction.
That gets continued too. I have a few things I want to clarify with Jessica. Just the way things are phrased.
Okay, that's the 24th.
I don't know if anyone else looked at this or... Just an example is under prohibited uses. Is the cutting, removing, or otherwise destroying trees, grasses, or other vegetation. And my question was, what about invasive species? But then you go to reserve rights and exceptions to otherwise prohibited acts and uses, and there's management of vegetation.
Right.
So, and this goes into a lot more detail about the select practices and invasive species control and using native plantings to keep invasives out, but I just, maybe I just don't know how these things are written. And then my other general concern that I bounced off Kelly was with this CR having Brookyard Brook and I guess another stream, intermittent stream maybe, because they mentioned two, running through the property, and then the Paul Street CR, which has floodplain and vegetated wetlands and all that stuff. And maybe it's the level of activity of Economic Trust on their properties in the time I've been on the board, but they don't seem to come to us for permits in areas subject to jurisdiction.
They will on these two.
Right. But how do we, I mean, there's a provision, there's language in here that says that, they will notify us within 60 days. Grantor shall notify grantee in writing not less than 60 days prior to the date grantor intends to undertake the activity in question.
Well, usually Gary Stover meets with us, because he was on board with this in the beginning, before the Paul Street project really got off the ground. I remember him coming and talking to us about it. And then they had a trail system, that they had a little plan of what they were going to
They
do.
went down some really steep roads.
Yeah, and then we never heard anything anymore.
Right.
So I think Jessica should reach out to them and ask them to come and give us a presentation on their plans for their trails, at which time we could inform them that they will need to file a permit.
Didn't they have some other thing going on at a different property down?
Fort Hill Road and
But-
East Street.
No,
I was thinking of the Oxbow.
No, there's across from my property on the other side of the river, back behind Burt Ford Tractor, the old Burt Ford Tractor, is where you go in, and that's the Dwyer Preserve or something like that. They have trails back in there.
But didn't they like email and they were on the agenda to maybe get a permit for trails or something, or an RDA, and then all of a sudden they emailed and were like, oh, forget it, never mind. It was like a year ago or something.
And a year ago, yes.
I just remember they did call me. I talked to,
Must be from Pride. I'm guessing? Okay.
I can't remember his first name.
Why don't you all come on in?
Bader?
You don't have to stand up.
John Bader.
Very welcome.
I spoke to him at one time about they were replacing some footbridges over, not waters, but, just cold, dingles, whatever you want to call them, big holes. And he'd asked me if we needed it, and I said, no, it's not in our jurisdiction, because it wasn't in wetlands, and it was pretty far from the river. But that's the last I can remember them doing anything. So, but I think if Jessica asked them to just come before the Conservation Commission, that we're very interested in this conservation restriction that we're doing for them, that would like to hear about what they plan on doing with the property. So I think it's, very open, and then we can very nicely say.
Because I think at one point they reference, possibly replacing the culvert.
Yeah. Is that the one we went out there?
Yeah, really.
Wood Roads, at the end of East Green Street.
So this is on the same, the nice parcel here that we're talking about? So we're gonna ask them to come in to visit and discuss the project? On that, the
Just
September
their
24th
vision for
meeting?
the property and maybe an update on the
I
Hall
think
Street
with
one.
them, we'll put the request out there, they're gonna have to tell us when they can come in.
Right, so it's the same
They have to have a meeting about who they'll send and everything else, and vote on it, and 4 representatives will come, and, and 20 of them will sit here to back the others. I probably won't be able to attend because they'll put germs on me or something. But that's usually how they work. But I did see in the paper that they were doing, is it this weekend or was it last weekend? They were taking people, I know it's this weekend, sample trailing out there. Go see what they're gonna do. It's in the paper.
So it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be continued to the 24th then?
As of right now, no, unless Jessica talks to them, and, you can just put them on under general business then,
Okay.
towards the end of the meeting. Okay, anything else anybody wants to discuss?
No, thank you.
So I should be at the next meeting. Should. Don't guarantee anything, but I should. They're tweaking things out, so I am still mobile. I wasn't too mobile the last meeting.